Hello, friends and family, Fowler Community Church. This is David, and I'm excited to be back talking about the book of Revelation and apocalyptic literature. So, as we've looked at the greeting from John to the seven churches, the introduction, his prayer, his vision of the Son of Man that we're getting into today is quite interesting. It's full of imagery that we may not understand, and that's why it's important while reading apocalyptic literature that we not look through our Americanized lens, but we try to put ourselves back into the time of when the book was written. And thankfully, due to some really high scholarship over hundreds of years, for us, we just really have to consult some trusted sources. So let's get into reading Revelation 1, and we're going to look at verses 12 through 16 as John describes the Son of Man. He says, "Then I turned to see the voice that was speaking to me. And on turning, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And in the midst of the lampstands, one was like a son of man, clothed with a long robe and with a golden sash around his chest. The hairs of his head were white, like white wool, like snow. His eyes were like a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze, refined in a furnace. And his voice was like a roar of many waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars. From his mouth came a sharp 2-edged sword, and his face was like the sun shining in full strength." When John first heard the voice calling to him to write a letter to the 7 churches, he did not know who was speaking until he turned and looked at who had summoned him. We know who it is because of the introduction and because of our exposure to the book. But the description and the position that John puts Jesus in continues to reveal to us much about who Jesus is. We see Jesus standing next to 7 lampstands. Later on in verse 20 of chapter 1, we learn that the 7 lampstands represents the 7 churches. This is meant to be an image of comfort to the original churches who received the letter, because these original churches were experiencing some pretty intense persecution. So what this does is give us a word picture that Jesus is standing in the midst of his churches. He is there with them. He's not far away from them. And in the same way, Jesus is with us. He does not leave us to face this world alone. This is true. The fact that Jesus is close to us, even when he has to speak harsh words of rebuke or tell his people to repent of their sins, like he does with the 7 churches. At the time that this letter was written, the lampstand was a common symbol of Judaism. In having the lampstands represent the churches, Jesus is most likely saying that the church, the corporate church, is the true people of God. The true people of God who are made up of the true Jews, those who trust Christ alone, no matter what their ethnic roots are. And to read a little bit more on this concept, check out Romans 2, verses 12 through 29. So then John goes on with the description, and he calls this man the Son of Man. And we're reminded of Daniel chapter 7, where the Son of Man receives an eternal kingdom from the Ancient of Days. And the Ancient of Days, in that context, is God the Father. Jesus, the Son of Man, whom John is describing in Revelation, looks just like the Ancient of Days from Daniel chapter 7. Yet, he is distinctly the Son of Man. This can be confusing, but John is using this imagery to tell his readers that Jesus is the Son of God, fully God, yet at the same time distinct from the Father. In this vision, the Son of Man wears a long robe and a sash. This is what the Old Testament priests were. So John is showing Jesus as our great high priest. More on that, read the book of Hebrews. The two-edged sword is a weird picture in our heads, but this is based on the prophecies of Isaiah 11:4 and 49:2, and they both speak of Jesus as judge, which fits the picture of the sword. So through all of this, we're learning about the personhood and the works of Jesus. Through these images that are confusing to us, they're telling us who Jesus is. So we've learned that Jesus is our prophet. He's our priest. He's our king. As prophet, he proclaims the truth to us, and he calls us out for our sin and calls us to repent. As priest, he intercedes for us before God. And as king, he defeats all of our enemies. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, please like, please share. We just want to get the word out there. We're going through Revelation, and I'm summarizing all these teachings from Table Talk Magazine and their daily devotion. Hey, come out to Fowler Community Church. We're opened up. Check out our website. We'd love to see you. Blessings. Have a wonderful day.